So this big goofy looking guy's decided that he's going to go backpacking for the first time in his life. Made a list, spent most of the winter researching this, watching videos, everything I could learn about it, and made a list of the nice camping equipment that I would need, ultralight gear, and it said that I needed $1,600 to do that. I'm a cheap SOB. I'm not spending $1,600 on a backpack and a tent. So I whittled the list down, and I wound up with a $600, which is still absurd, but evidently to do ultralight backpacking, everything's expensive. Now I forgot I had some gift cards left over from a couple of Christmases that had allowed me to upgrade some of my equipment to actually get some of the nicer stuff that I wanted. Now once I had everything, that's when Super Nerd kicked in. You have to weigh everything. So you got the little kitchen scale, and you literally weigh every single item that is on the checklist for every trip. I'm not going to take every single item on every trip, but if I do, I'll know what my pack will weigh. And that's what I did. I weighed everything. My iPad, chargers, drones, GoPros, tents. Even tested if I want to take my giant laptop. Once I had my spreadsheet and I had all my items listed, everything that I would or would not take, I knew what my pack fully loaded would weigh. So then it was time to fully load my pack. So I had no clue if all this stuff was actually going to fit inside the backpack that I bought. I was hoping it would. I'd planned out like where everything would even be, like which this thing will go in this pocket, this thing will go in this pocket. And I was doing all that based on how easy I thought it would need to be to get to while I was hiking. And then it's just a matter of I've got everything, I've got it all weighed, so I start loading the pack the way I think it's going to work. And I guess what they say about planning is it works, because everything worked out great. I loaded everything. It all actually went in the right place. And I have basically a pack with everything I could possibly ever take on a hike. I will never, ever have all this stuff in the pack at one time, except on these training hikes that I'm about to go on. And then I put it on my back and tightened everything up, got it where it would fit. And at that point, I'm ready to go backpacking. But first, let's check the weight. I got to make sure that the spreadsheet weight matches the real weight. So I jumped on the scale with the backpack fully loaded, and then I jumped on the scale with just me, and yes, I am that fat. Going on a little training hike, 6 miles, asphalt, fully loaded pack. First time. And it's raining. So today I'm testing out my backpack. So it's fully loaded. It's the 14-pound base weight, and then it's everything minus a couple of things that just haven't arrived yet. It's 28 pounds, and we're going to do about 6 miles today. I'm trying to get ready for a 25-mile hike, and I will not be weighing 28 pounds on that hike. So we'll see. Hopefully it won't rain on us today. I'm very out of breath. Are you good, Mom?
Yeah.
So we did it. About 7 miles? 5.8. Strava always messes up the miles. It's probably close to 7. Done. New solo stove. Got our backpack.
Packed more stuff than I did.
I did bring a lot of stuff. I've got my overnight ultralight packing.
It's not ultralight. That thing was heavy. There's nothing light about it.
So I've got my 30-pound ultralight pack. Got our cooler. We have a stereo speaker.
Let's go.
I'm going to set up my tent, test out my gear for the first time. Since I'd never backpacked before, I wanted to try my tent out. I'd never set the tent up, so I wanted to try setting the tent up. So I went off into the wilderness, into a remote location. Not really, I went to a campground. In my camper. That's our camper right there. And I decided I would set up my tent for the first time, and then if all hell broke loose, I'd be able to go inside the camper. So I've camped before. I've camped in, drive up with a giant tent, pull it out of the back of the car, set it up, put 6 people in it. I've done that kind of camping. I could never convince my family to do that. My immediate family. We did that when I was a little kid. I've never done any backcountry camping, and I've definitely never done ultralight where you're literally carrying everything on your back into the backcountry and doing that. And I decided I'm going to try to do that this year. I'll probably go on a couple little trips here and there with some extended hikes involved in them. So I decided I needed to try everything out, at least know how to set everything up. And I think I did everything you could possibly do wrong on this tent the first time. The tent's great. It's all color coded. I just didn't follow the directions at all. So I think everything I did I had to redo and do twice. But the tent went up very easily. It's got a rain cover, and then it's got all my bedding, and everything fits inside the backpack, and everything's relatively light. So I think if I just go in with the stuff that I have to have, like tent and bedding, stuff like that, and the backpack, I think I'm at somewhere like 14 pounds. And then everything else I might want to take, I'm obviously going to need clothes, but I can go one pair of changed out clothes on that. I'm going to take camera equipment here and there, food, obviously. I'm excited. I've never really done this. I'm excited to get out and give it a try. I told Emily I may hate it. I don't think I'm going to hate it because I like hiking. But I don't know if I'm going to like being out in the woods by myself in the dark, because I do not think Emily's going to go with me. She might in certain locations, but I think generally this is going to be a Dino go solo adventure, unless I have friends who somehow want to go along with me. But I'm preparing to do most of these hikes as a solo endeavor. All right, so I got the tent set up, and it worked pretty good. I've got my sleep stuff set up, so I want to go in and lay down and try that out. So I've got my camp gear on, and now I'm getting in. And I'm going to close the tent down. Alright, so that's a little vestibule, and you're supposed to be able to put your pack and stuff out there. And then that goes there. Alright. So I've got my camp gear. I've set up the tent, and I've got my camp gear on, my sleep gear, and I'm just gonna, it's about 50 degrees. I've got my light up here, and I'm just trying to find out if this sleep is gonna be good. I think it is. I've got a inflatable mattress, inflatable pillow. I sleep in a little sleeve, and then I've got my quilt, and it feels pretty warm. So I'm just gonna lay here and figure it out. I wear Crocs when I'm not hiking, so I've got those. So I'm just gonna test out my sleep system here for a few minutes while Max rides his bike and Arden and Emily talk about girl stuff. It works great. Fully insulated off the ground. I'm in this little, it's just a sleeping bag liner, and then you put your quilt on top of that.
That's pretty inventive, Max.
And it's like 50 degrees outside, and it's perfectly
Hold on a second.
comfortable.
How is that gonna fit?
So I think winter.
You're gonna have to lay the
Plenty of room. There's plenty of room. I'm not even over against the wall here. So if Emily wanted to come, which she'll never do, but she could.
It's a skateboard.
I'm actually going to do a little bike packing, and what I'm working on now is I'm finishing up the little packs that I need to go on my Specialized mountain bike to make it where I can put all my gear onto the bike, and I'm going to probably ride out to my father-in-law's farm and overnight camp there. That'll probably be the first overnight camping trip I go on. That way if I get scared in the middle of the night, I can just hop on my bike and ride home in the middle of the night. And then after that, I'll be ready to walk a big overnighter, tent camp, do the deal. Should be fun.
Because there's a big hole there.
Oh, you need to buy the support things.
We don't know what the hell Max is
got 'em.
doing. Arden has been roped into. He's going to sleep on top of a subwoofer.
You have to cover up with something more than that.
It's just like 20 blankets is all it is. It's just like
Yeah,
blanket on.
It's
like a little-
It's pretty cute. I just don't know how he's gonna fit.
Emily, can you go in the RV and turn on the heat? I want the heat turned
But
on.
can you get it close?
Max is still there. They're still asleep. It's drizzling. But they made it through the night.
I don't know. They could be.
Mom's got breakfast ready. Our new mattress worked great. I mean, it didn't work great. It just was a significant upgrade over the prior factory mattress. We're ready for the drizzle to stop, eat breakfast, and go to Falls Creek Falls.